Gospel of the Lord.
Praise to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
So when I celebrate Masses of anniversary in parishes, I always like to know who are the elders of that community, or the oldest. So St. Barbara's been around for 100 years, and then it was blessed with the people from St. Rose's, Lima. So who's been here for 100 years? 90. This is a young community. 80. Wow. 70. Who's been here 70 years? 60. And you certainly have been blessed with great priests here. We have Father Lyons who is here. And Msgr who's been here for like 100. About 10 years. 5. 3 years. 2 years. 1 year. 6 months. A day. But in all this time, you know who's been here all the time? Christ has been here all the time. And so 100 years ago, the church establishes this parish community to be a sign of its presence in this neighborhood. The house of God in the midst of your home. That's beautiful, right? That's Francis's thought. When he thinks about a parish, Pope Francis speaks about a parish being a home in the midst, the home of God in the midst of home. And people have come and gone. Priests have come and gone in 100 years. People have walked in. People have been rolled out. And people have come here in moments of great joy, in moments of sadness. People have sat in their pews, and that you sit there, which you sit today, sometimes with prayers of gratitude to God, because God has blessed them to come through difficult moments. And sometimes they've sat there with despair in their hearts, pleading supplication to the Lord. Things have come and things have gone, but the one who has been stable all the time, the one who should really write a book, is the Lord himself. And the Blessed Sacrament, who's been the constant for all of our lives in our journey. Today's word speaks about what God joins, that man must not separate. It talks about marriage in that sense. But there's lots of things that God has joined that we can't separate. There's other things, right? Like soft pretzels and mustard. Tasty cakes and cold milk. Steak and cheese. I've been around the country a little bit, trust me. When you go someplace outside of Philly and you see on the menu like Philly cheesesteak, take my advice. Don't. Just don't. There are lots of things God has united. One of the things that God has united is Him to His people, Him to us, not to be separated ever. And the other thing that the Lord has united, not to be messed around with, is each other. Right? Each other. He's made us family, and He's made us community. And in fact, we human beings, when we find ourselves alone and isolated, we're like a plant with no water that eventually shrivels up and dies. And we know people like that, right, that have isolated themselves for one reason or another. And because God united us to live in family and live in community, then we shrivel up. And we become bitter. When I was in my first assignment in Albany, Feltonville area, I had 2 communion calls that were 2 elderly women that were kind of strikingly opposite one from the other. There was one lady that when I went to visit her, it took her 15 minutes to open the door because there were like 10 locks. And I have to stand there. Open. When she sat in her living room, surrounded by stacks of newspapers, and for the 15-20 minutes that I was there, it was all complaints. All complaints. Complaints about what's going on in the world, complaints about this, and complaints about that, and complaints about the neighborhood, and she would tell me about all her aches and pains over, and that was every month. Every month. And always at the end, she would always finish with kind of a question. And the question was, I wonder why no one visits me. And I felt like saying, lady, I have to tell you, I don't want to be here either. It was sad because in many ways, she tried to separate what God had united. And she was the one who was pushing everyone away. Right? And people would run by that house, because if they came anywhere near the house, she would scream out the window. Right? But then there was this other woman, her name was Olivia, and she was a delight. I could spend all day with her. The kids around the neighborhood would come and sit on the porch. They would run to the grocery, would never stop. She would give them a buck or two. They would sit around her. Everybody knew her name. The shades of her windows were opened up. The door was usually open. Everybody knew her. Everybody knew her name. She was a delight. And people like that who understand that we need to, that the human heart was made for God and for each other, like Olivia did, well, they attract people. And you know who you can't fool? The little kids. You can't fool the little ones because the little ones know. They know. And you know what they do? They don't give you a speech or anything. They just stay away. Simple as that. Simple as that. And so what God has joined, man must not divide. Because once we play in that world, then things usually don't end up really well. So what God has joined here for you is each other. So tell me a little bit about St. Barbara, St. Rose. Tell me about this community. What is unique and special that you hold deep in your heart about this place? Give me some words. Yes? Family. I heard that as soon as I got here. You know that? I asked, well, tell me about St. Barbara. They told me it's a tight-knit family community, right? What else? Giving. Giving, right? Giving. Yes? Sharing, right?
Yeah, there are people from St. Barbara who have been very sharing and caring with those of us who came from St. Louis.
Oh, that's great, isn't it? Yeah. So, you know what it tells me? That the people here have a big heart. What else? Passion. Excuse me? Passion. Right? There's nothing better than the person with passion, right? And the opposite is like a dove. Right? People who are passionate, they ignite the world. They cause change. They cause change. You know, there are people in our own world, we know them, right? There are people in our own little world, the family and friends, that when they walk into a room, everybody says, oh, brother. Look who just arrived, right? But then there are people that when they walk into a room, they fill it because of their passion. Their passion for life, and their passion for God, and their passion for the community, family. What else? Was somebody or yes, sir?
Love.
Love, right? Love, that's it. At the end, it all begins and ends there, right? Love. What else?
Commitment and dedication.
Spiritual.
Great
Faithful.
music.
Music. Give them a round of applause. Anybody else? Welcoming.
Yes.
Welcoming different communities, the Haitian communities here as well. We're the Haitian. Right? They're going through really tough times. So we have to pray for your people. What else?
Comforting.
Comforting. What a beautiful word, right? Comforting. Yes?
The gifts of our priests and the sisters at here in St. Paul.
Where are the sisters? IHM sister, right? And an IHM sister too. And of course your priest. What else?
Elders of the church.
The elders, right? The veterans, the legacy people. Right? You sit here today because some people back in the day set your seat. Right? This didn't just appear today. This place, beautiful churches, just happened out of nothing. It happened because people decades and decades and decades ago poured their heart and their passion and their love. And that's why you sit here today. In this home of God, in the midst of your home. In the midst of your home. So you have a lot to be grateful for. We all have a lot to be grateful for. In fact, gratitude is one of the most incredible attributes of the Christian heart. Gratitude. And when we gather to celebrate the Eucharist, the word Eucharist itself means gratitude. right? That we are grateful to the gift of Christ who offers continue to offer his life for us on that altar. That we are grateful to the Christ who offers his prayer to the Father. This Mass is the most perfect prayer that we could make. You know why? Because it's not our prayer. Because at Mass, the prayer is the prayer of Christ to his Father, to which we join, we unite, we become a part of. It's Christ himself offering himself once again for you and for me. And that which happened on Calvary happens here again today. Right? That God so loved the world that he gave us his Son. Amen. And in the Eucharist, in the celebration of the Holy Mass, he gives us his word. And we bring up bread and wine that represents everything in our lives. It's offered up to God, and you know what God does? Changes it into the very presence of the living presence of life. Christ, his real presence in body, soul, divinity, humanity, and he gives it right back to us. And he gives it right back to us. How blessed we are. God is good all the time. And all the time.